Getting rid of TPP is a popular move with some of America's biggest car makers, and the bosses of the big three US automakers have been meeting Trump at the White House. Now, the president has just been pushing them to commit to keeping manufacturing in the country. Now, Trump's approach is a mixture of stick and carrot, as Andre-Pierre du Plessis explains.
Almost overnight, the White House has turned into a deal-making office. Instead of being summoned to Trump Towers in New York, the world's CEOs are now venturing to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue to mix business and politics. And Tuesday was no different. America's top three auto executives met President Donald Trump, hoping that his wrangling over trade could be used to push their own agendas. They have a lot to lose if Trump follows through with a 35% tariff on cars exported from Mexico to America. And since becoming president, all three car makers have given Trump ammunition for promoting US hiring. Ford cancelled a $1.6 billion car factory in Mexico, a decision considered before Trump took office, but which the company was happy for the US president to take credit for. GM hasn't announced any step back from plans to spend $5 billion on new plants in Mexico, and Fiat Chrysler has 7 facilities in Mexico that continue to build Ram and Dodge vehicles. As a former spokesperson for GM, Trump has reserved comment in the past on the company's actions in Mexico and further afield. But despite GM CEO Mary Barra now serving on his White House advisory panel, she did not escape criticism.
You're not being singled out, believe me, Mary, I promise.
Trump admits that it's cheaper to build cars outside the country, but is hoping that by lowering emission standards, these CEOs will build more cars in America.
I am, to a large extent, an environmentalist. I believe in it. But it's out of control. And we're going to make a very short process. And we're going to either give you your permits or we're not going to give you your permits, but you're going to know very quickly.
The last time the big three automakers met with the US president was in 2011, when Barack Obama doubled the fuel efficiency standards for cars. It was these strict environmental regulations that some executives at Volkswagen said was why they installed software that could help vehicles pass emission tests without reducing performance. By promising to do away with those standards, Trump is hoping to convince car CEOs to create jobs in America. Car companies are slowly making the changes Trump has repeatedly asked for. But for now, their maneuvers seem more wheel spin than U-turn.
Well, AP joins me on the set now. Did you say wheel spin? Talking of spin, look, they're all businessmen sitting around the table, and businesswomen, in fact, including Mary Barra. And I get, I have a suspicion that really they're trying to give the impression that they're confronting each other and that Trump is twisting their arm to keep things in the United States.
But they're actually
for the benefit of the American auto workers. But, it's all kind of a club, isn't it?
Yeah. Trump's relationship with these companies and these CEOs go back at least a decade.
Right.
At the New York Auto Show, he used to be the spokesperson for GM's luxury vehicles. Now, although both Mark Field, CEO from Ford, and Mary Barra, as relatively new CEOs, he has an established relationship with them. If you look at these pictures earlier today, so this was just after they met with Trump, they all came out to speak to the media. From left to right, that's Mary Barra, obviously. So she is serving on Trump's advisory board.
It's a pretty cozy relationship.
Economy, exactly. In the middle is Fiat's CEO Sergio Marchionne, and then
in a very
Mark
fetching
Fields.
fisherman's jumper.
Exactly. It's very clear he doesn't really care what was happening there today.
Yeah, right.
Even if you look at the comments he's made about his company. I'd like to have you listen in what Mark Fields said today,
Guy with the smart suit and tie.
Exactly, that's Ford's CEO, specifically about TPP. Have a listen.
And we've repeatedly said that the mother of all trade barriers is currency manipulation. And TPP failed in meaningfully dealing with that. And we appreciate the president's courage to walk away from a bad trade deal.
Well, there you go, AP. You've got the head of Ford there saying, thanks for getting rid of TPP for us. It's a quid pro quo relationship.
Exactly. And, as much as Trump wanted TPP to go away, these companies want this deal to go away. And yes, fair enough. They have been up to now playing their cards right. They have been manufacturing cars across the world. But if he really wants them to bring down that number, that 43%, that's the amount of cars that's imported into the US, which is a pretty big number considering that these massive companies produce cars in the US. They need to get something back.
Well, let me just ask you about that. Another quid pro quo kind of suggestion from Trump is that he's, in your report, some sort of environmentalist. He believes in it to some degree, but he's hinted that he's willing to bring standards down to make it cheaper for American car makers.
Exactly. So the argument goes that you can, dirty up the country, even if you look at these executive orders that he's signed, specifically giving the Keystone XL pipeline and the Dakota Access pipeline the go-ahead. It's clear that he just wants to bring more jobs to the US, regardless of what the environmental impact will be.
Jobs first, environment second. Gotcha.
Exactly.
Okay, AP, thank you.